I just did it for the brand, folks. I had to do it for the brand. I've just taught my first tiered Yu-Gi-Oh event. Top 8, 6th place, got a mat, and played a really stock standard deck that's probably going to be on the ban list in just a week. So take this one into account. Look at all these card choices, copy them for your locals. Maybe the next case tournament, you never know. I'm just gonna, for those who don't really care about card choices, I'm just gonna flash the deck list on the screen for about 10 seconds. I'm waiting. Here you go. Just take your time. You can screenshot it. You can do whatever you want. All right. And since you don't care about card choices, let's go ahead and move this one on. All right. Starting off with the most. It's literally the cash engine. We've been playing this for 3 months. Come on, guys. 3 Unicorn, 3 Fenrir, and the 1 ulti. Drew this one the most, of course. Double Rise Heart, some people playing 1, but I just find myself, I'm a bad player. I have terrible card economy management, so I always need to search 1 on the follow-up. I'm not Jesse Cotton. Don't play 1. And 1 Scareclaw. This guy outs everything. This guy is a great combo piece. He comes up a lot because I was making double Rise Heart all day. I'll talk about that a little bit later. You're crazy if you're not doing this. This is some planets and stuff. Triple Birth, you're a lunatic if you don't play this. Come on, guys, this deck is solved at this point. And I went for Triple Theosis. Some people have cut this card to 2. It's a brick. It contributes to bricks. But when your Unicorn gets imperm and you don't have Theosis in hand, you just kind of look at your opponent and it's like, yeah, you kind of need this card. You need to see this card in your opening hand at all times, even though it can break sometimes.
I do want to say something postscript. I always sided at least one of these out going second, except in the Runic matchup, just because you don't want to see it in your opening hand going second, because it is by far the weakest extender. It loses to a single pop.
And 1 Big Bang, because we like to combo. Double Arise Heart was what I was going for all day, and it was probably the most, the most resilient board. I got kaiju'd so much, and having Double Arise Heart on board with so many materials attached, it won me a ton of games today. That was probably, it was starting to get figured out at, YCS Los Angeles, but I think, for this event, Double Arise Heart absolutely soloed everyone.
All right, so a couple of things I wanted to say postscript about Double Arise Heart. One thing, yes, it doesn't lose to a kaiju, but also to a lot of decks that just lose to a macrocosmos in general. Sometimes it's too difficult for them to out 2 of them at the same time. This board does not lose to a 1-for-1. And at the same time, it is also very card efficient in the way that you are able to attach Big Bang and Theosis to your Arise Hearts, and if you Prosperity, you can attach everything. And this allows you to gain maximum card advantage, so when your opponent inevitably does break your board, you're able to kill them with follow-up, or if they don't break your board, you win. So that's the kind of mid-range strategy that you'd like to see.
All right. So the cash engine, no real surprises here. We're going to move on to the non-engine. Obviously, 3 prosp, no desires here today. Too much conflicting. That's mostly what came up for me in practice for desires. It's just it doesn't really work, and also going into a board just doesn't work. All right, 3 Ash, 3 Imperm. This is basically stock standard, branded, and this is just good against everything. 2 Book of Moon. You'll see this lineup of non-engine. 2 Book of Moon. We have a Feather Dust, and we have a whole Thrust package in here. I didn't really value the Book of Moon too much. Mostly it's there as an extra interruption because we're totaling out at about 7 going first cards. If you want to categorize it like this. So you're probably going to see at least 1 of these going first. But Book of Moon was the least value because it's good against cash, but against everything else, it's not super insane. It's just a generic 1-for-1, and I'd rather have cards with a bit more utility. Now the MVP of this deck was absolutely Thrust today. This card went in so hard. Picking up Feather Duster was the best way to break boards against a Tri-Brigade Sprite opponent. Feather Duster forced out Revolt and Smashers in one fell swoop. There was this card was live all day against Math Mech. This card is permanently live. against a variety of decks. And at worst, it's just like if you have this after you break a board, you just go thrust, set, imperm, and you stop your opponent's follow-up. It lets you contest boards, it lets you break boards, it lets you do everything. I was expecting to get gammed a lot today, which is also why I tried to keep this in the one. Didn't get gammed when I had thrust in hand, at least. I think also another great MVP card, enemy controller, just insane in the mirror. Beats Book of Moon. That's basically what enemy controller is there for. All right, main deck over. All right, kids, we're gonna go over to the extra deck. I think this is where it's actually kind of funny, because you're gonna look at the deck list online. People are gonna say like, "What are you doing?" And they're right. What was I doing? We're triple Arise Heart. This is mandatory. If I see two Arise Hearts in the extra deck, I'm gonna start picking them off. And if a cash player runs out of Arise Hearts, they just lose. This standard. This not so standard. Some people leave one in this deck, but I prioritize double Big Eye over double Zeus. This name never came up in testing. Every time a cash player would rip this out of my extra deck, I could just go Big Eye and break their board anyways. Zeusing people in the Kashmir specifically, because the only reason you play 2 is for the Kashmir, is pretty bad, because if you ever get into a top deck war, your cash opponent's always going to be in the advantage because they can top deck literally anything where you can only top deck Birth. Big Eye, because it's good at breaking boards. Standard stuff. Mind Hacker, Dark Armed, and what's replacing the Zeus, I suppose it could just be the Draco Sack. A lot of utility. I played against 8 different matchups today. I played 2 Kashmirs and then just the whole format. So you need to have as much utility as possible to deal with a lot of threats. That's why I kind of valued some diversity in my extra deck. My attachments, Garura Entis. Garura is just so good. Entis never came up today, but it's theoretically when you get Dark Rulered, you could detach this and still make your Rise Heart an interruption. And then Lingaribo. I didn't get Italy today. And Donner. This is mandatory. You get Kaiju, and in a mid game, this card comes up. Didn't Donner anyone today, but always do need to keep this one in your extra deck. Comes up sometimes. All right, and now this is the most useless part of this profile. It's the side deck. The side deck was so terrible today because I 2-0'd everyone. All right, I don't know what happened, but this side deck can basically this could be anything you want, anything you ever wanted. I just 2-0'd everyone, so this side deck doesn't matter. I played Ibly this weekend because I was expecting a lot of Gamma Nib, and I was correct. There was a lot of Gamma in Nib. But I didn't draw it because, again, I 2-0'd everyone, so I'm never going first. The one time I did see it was against MathMech, and you're like wondering like why would I ever put that into MathMech? You're literally giving a free cyber spot. It's just because like saw he's playing Nib, Gamma, and I kind of want to just play around those because if I can summon this on my opponent's board and just Arise Heart past them, I probably just win the duel against certain decks like MathMech. Because most people's outs as like single target was Gamma or Imperm, one or the other to trade with the Arise Heart. Didn't ever come up, but in theory this was probably the correct call, and I wouldn't change that. The anti-gimmick puppet package. These troops came in to save me a couple times. Also just good against every single graveyard deck in the format. Runic. Played against Drytron today. Shout out to Ryan May, who's currently recording this video. But yeah, these cards you kind of just have to play in cash. I think they wouldn't change. These are like this is like the main 6 cards I'm siding every game. That's not cash. Kaijus. Didn't really come up today because I didn't play a crazy amount of Kashmirs, but it also outs just like random big boards. Sided against Drytron, of course, never drew them. Again, I just like 2-0'd everyone. Cosmics, mostly because for the Runic matchup, and also because I'm terrified as all hell of Anti-Spell Fragrance. If they flip Anti-Spell, I probably just instant lose the game. But I didn't get Anti-Spell today. Actually, I got Anti-Spell once. I got Anti-Spell by Labyrinth. Round 1. 4 spells. Still won. And this was... I was expecting other people to play Ibly. So my last 15th card in my side deck was Dark Hole. It's a thrust target. It's... In testing, this card went in. but I never got Imbly today. Or just played... This is decent in the Kashmir too, but it never came up. Didn't draw it. Didn't see it. This side deck is so useless. Alright, thank you guys for watching the deck profile. Yada, yada, yada. Shoutouts to Team Endgame and whatever locals I play at. Thanks to Core TCG. Woo! 6th place! Yay! Bye.
I should be a little bit more honorable and professional with my deck profiles in the future, but for this one, for the first one, let it be this way. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully another topping deck list will be coming your way. I'm definitely going to be attending Nationals now that I have my invite, so maybe I'll see some of you folks there. Time to prep and prepare. Let's go!